everyone, and welcome to the Pottery Corner, my studio down on the south coast of England near Chichester, and welcome to another kiln glaze fire opening. It's very good to have you all with me. The kiln is down to 51 degrees C, so we're okay to open the kiln. I'm using my gloves because it is a little bit warm, not very much. So let's switch off the kiln supply. Flick the switch. Oh yes, you know, I've had just a tiny sleeky pleek. So in this kiln, mostly students work, and it's the last of the 30th birthday platter ladies. And as you can see, tra-la, I am down to the last load of glaze firing, and amazingly, all of these pieces actually on the shelf are mine. Because of course my work never gets to go into the kiln unless there's a suitable my work space. So this is my work waiting, so that's one nice glaze fire to do, and that's the last of it. And then because we're still in England's second lockdown, I've got to the end of the firing, hurrah. I just thought I'd share with you in a little aside that I've been using my kiln for another purpose. My daughter and her intended are getting married in about 2 or 3 weeks time, and so I put my rose petals, the last of the summer roses, which are still flowering in here in England. I just picked the petals and then popped them on top of the kiln. Didn't put them in the kiln, but put them on top of the kiln. The kiln's very nicely dried them out, so second use for your kiln. Make yourself your own confetti. It smells wonderful too. It's been really lovely in here, walking in with the smell of the rose petals. Right, Sarah, stop yabbering on. Okay. So as I say, most of this is students' work. There are a few bits of mine in here actually. So we'll start off with the platter on the top, the plate on the top. This is Ellie's. So this is the 30th birthday girl. So this has got icicle stamps on it. It looks like Amaco's Glacier to me, and that one is a Huntley and Noble plate mould with a chamfered edge rather than the straight edge. Really nice, lovely plate, really nice decoration on there. Look lovely with mince pies on for Christmas, so that's a jolly good one. Okay, next out is actually one of my dishes, which has been waiting for ages to be done, so nonetheless it's done now. Now, I've already noticed picking this up, apart from the fact that there's one of those horrible nasty shards on, having taken the little ceramic prop off. You do really need to watch your fingers on these because you could really rip your fingers apart. But anyway, this is a pastry made roller from Poland with this lovely leaf design. And as you can see, where I've overlapped the roller, I've used it as a feature rather than having it sort of slicing down the bowl. This is Amaco's True Celadon, and it's been made on one of my we've got bisque hump moulds upstairs. But Sarah, who didn't glaze the back properly? So it can happen to the best of us. You know, I put my little things out saying how many coats I've done. Clearly did not do enough coats on the back of there, so that needs refiring, or I need to keep it. Oh dear, what a shame. Very nice colour. I love Amaco's True Celadon. It's one of my favourite glazes. So I shan't be too happy if that one doesn't have to go on the shop. Right, let's lift the shelf. Okay, what is next? Let's have a look in here. Whoopie whoopie. Let's get rid of some of these nasty old props because we don't like those. Okay, Becca, this is the last of your platters. So this again has been made with a Huntley and Noble mould. This is the straight-sided plate, and actually the slab was a little bit uneven on this one because she's got a higher ridge on one side than the other. This glaze on here is Blue Midnight, Amaco's Blue Midnight. And again, she's used the same leaf design pastry made roller on there. The glaze is a little bit uneven. We've got some sort of slight patching, but it doesn't really detract from it. It's quite a nice colour, even where the glaze is not quite so thick. So that's the last of the nesting set of Becca's. So that again is good. Right, next, there's a half shelf in here, so let's get rid of these nasty, horrible old props. Okay, let's get the half shelf out. There are actually some of my Wonky Pots in here. How lovely. I love a Wonky Pot, as you know. Those of you who watch my videos regularly, let's see what we've got. So, this one is, oh, quite nice actually. So this is a Monstera leaf cheese plant leaf mould that I bought. It's a cake, it's a silicone cake mould. But I actually used it to press into the slab rather than applique covering like I've done on the join, as you can see there. So this has been just pressed into the slab and rolled on slightly to give me this Monstera leaf texture. And I did actually put some copper oxide on the detail of these leaves. As you can see, there's sort of a bit of mottling going on. The base glaze on there is Mako's Aurora Green, but it has changed slightly because of the copper oxide. And on the two appliqued Monstera leaves on the slab join, I've used June Bug. So that's Amaco June Bug, which is a very expensive glaze, but actually it's a beautiful, deep, shiny green. So it is worth the money, that one, I would say. I like that, it's pretty. And then we've got Aurora Green on the bottom, which has crystallised slightly, which is rather nice. And then I've just put transparent on the inside because obviously you don't see the inside when it's got a plant on it. So yes, that one's nice. Quite like that. Actually, there's not very much in this kiln. This is, again, it's another Wonky Pot, but this one has the studio textured sprigs, so bisqued sprigs that I've made of my own texture. And actually, there is a Top Tip Tuesday video about making your own textured sprigs, so have a look at that if you subscribe to my channel. You'll be able to find the other videos, and some of the Top Tip Tuesday videos cover things like making your own texture so that you're not using commercially available texture on your work. Right, so the glaze combination on here is, this is Mako's Seafoam, which actually is really nice. Actually quite similar to Amaco's Glacier. I don't mind it. In fact, I quite like it. And what's on the bottom? Now, that would be a good question, and one I should have brought my glaze book down. I'm not sure what that is on there. Actually, it's really quite nice, whatever it is. I shall have to feed back, but I have put a little bit of copper oxide on my name tag just to make it stand out. That looks like tourmaline to me, but it might not be. Oh, I know what it is. I always say this, don't I, that Blue Lagoon looks like tourmaline, so it's Blue Lagoon. So it's Blue Lagoon, Amaco's Blue Lagoon on the bottom, and then Mako's Seafoam on the side. And that's a lovely Wonky Pot. Nice personality. He's rather nicely wonky, that one. And I like the texture on it, so that one's a goodie. I might put those up on the shop. There's another Wonky Pot, so actually 3 things of mine. Oh, that's interesting. Right, okay. So this is, interesting. So on the outside, this is the same as the other one. So I've imprinted the Monstera leaves into the slab rather than appliquing them on. This is Mako's Meadow, which has the glass frit in it, which gives you this sort of slightly yellowy colour. But what's really interesting is the appliqued Monstera leaves, which are on the slab join, which have been done in June Bug, have reacted with the Meadow, the Mako Meadow, and have turned bright blue. Now, who would have said that you could do that? So if you should want to do that, that's how I did it. If you shouldn't want to do it, then unfortunately that is what you're left with. So quite like it. It's unusual, but it would have been better if they had stayed just the June Bug colour rather than taking on. And that's presumably something in the Mako Glaze that has reacted with the June Bug to turn it into this sort of almost cobalt blue colour. But it's nice, it's fine. The Mako Meadow is very nice. this kind of sort of greeny, citrusy, yellowy colour. Quite nice, quite like that. So that's that. There are two more things in this kiln. This was just a little thrown pot that I did. I was just trying out. We've ordered some new studio underglazes. This is one of Jane Scott's underglazes. So have a look at Jane Scott's channel, Jane Scott Ceramics. She makes her own underglazes, and very good they are too. And they come in a bigger pot than the Amaco velvet underglazes, and actually the colours are really vibrant. I found when I was using them that I was using the same amount that I would usually use with an Amaco underglaze, and then it was too thick with Jane's, so you get more for your more underglaze for your buck. So have a look at her channel, Jane Scott Ceramics. She's almost, well, I think actually she's more bonkers than I am. Bless you, Jane, if you're watching. So inside of there we have Mako's Lemon and Lime. So again, that's another one of the Mako glazes that has the frit in it, and pretty that one is too. So I was just kind of sort of trying it out on the inside, and I've just done a little bit of sgraffito on there. It's nothing very special, but it's quite a sweet little pot. Right, and the last thing that's in here is a very large poppy head that Carolyn has made. Now, you know what I said last time on my last video about glazing poppy heads? For me, this is a beautiful thing, and actually the glaze on it is quite nice. I'm going to have to knock the cookie off the bottom. This is exactly the reason why I placed them on cookies, because that otherwise would be stuck to my kiln shelf. Now this glaze combination, I can't actually remember, other than the spines down here are Palladium and the top is Palladium, but I couldn't tell you what the blue, I know, I do know, it's Indigo Float, but actually it's really nice. In the places where it's thicker, it's gone more blue, as you can see, there's kind of like patches of blue on it. And it's really, actually it's quite nice. It's nicer, may I say, sorry Louise, than the downpour on the last one, because it's slightly more opaque, so you can't actually see through it down to the surface of the clay. So that on there is Amaco's Indigo Float on a craft crank body. So this is a craft crank structural poppy head with Palladium on the top, which is, it's quite nice actually. I'm still not going back off saying that I prefer them to be oxided. And again, when you've made a big piece like this, your choice of glaze is quite important. So it's a big piece, but actually I think it works okay. So not bad, Carolyn. Right, so today I'm just going to award the Student of the Week. Now, tricky one this week. Very sadly, one of my students passed away this week, and very, very talented she was too. So just because I know that the rest of my students are watching, I'm going to award this week, this month and this year's Star Potter to Jo. So my darling, we miss you already, and I don't want to get upset, and I'm glad to be sharing it with you, because we go on this journey together, don't we, with sharing our knowledge and sharing our experience and sharing our love of clay, and then we lose somebody who means a lot to us. So Jo, forever Student of the Week for me. Anyway, that said, there will be another glaze firing opening to be done when I get through the little bits and pieces that are left on the shelf. In the meantime, there are no courses going on at the moment because we're still in lockdown. Have a look at the website, www.thepotterycorner.co.uk. In the meantime, be kind, stay safe. Thanks everybody, thanks for watching. Bye for now.